Hi there, Laura here from Get Organized HQ, and I want to talk about how we can use our smartphones to help us be productive. Now, I know a lot of times they can be a huge time suck, but they do not have to be, and instead we can use them to help us be more productive. Now, if you haven't already watched my video on how to make yourself the boss of your iPhone or smartphone instead of it being the boss of you, go ahead and check out that video. The link will be down below. And meanwhile, let's dive in to how we can be more productive. Now, just like the last video, some of these tips are going to apply no matter what type of phone you own and use. And some of them are going to be a little bit specific to the iPhone, and I will be showing you on an iPhone how to do these things. If you have an Android, you'll need to see if it has a corresponding thing that it can do and maybe look up how to do it. In order for your phone to help you be the most productive, there are a lot of things on both your lock screen and your home screen and your notifications that you can customize. Now, I already talked a lot in my previous video about notifications, so we're not going to cover those here, but I do want to talk about how you can customize your home screen. Now, the first thing you're going to want to think about is how you have organized your apps on your screen, and you can organize any way your heart desires. You can reorder, you can group, you can make multiple screens. The way that you reorder is you simply tap an app and then you start dragging it, and you'll see they kind of go into shaky mode, I call it. I don't know if that's the official term or not. And you can like group them together. So I could group them in here, and then I could name this if I wanted to. By renaming the folder. So this could be, I don't know what I would call this, test. That's what I want to call that, okay? So you can do that. You can also move from one screen to the next by dragging that way. So if I wanted to put this like way back here on this last screen, I could totally do that. Or even start a new screen. So you can have like one screen for each context, something like that. A lot of people put the apps that they want to think twice about using on their last screen. Here's where mine are kind of grouped. But I also want to tell you, for like productivity purposes, you don't actually have to organize your apps very much, because there's a few things. If you go and you scroll all the way over, they have an app library and they've tried to organize them for you. Now, they can't necessarily be perfect about it, but you know, if you're like, I wonder like what social media apps I have, you could click there and see what they are. But the way that I most often like to use apps, and this is if you remember what your app name is, which I believe most of the time we do, anywhere on your home screen, swipe down, and then type it in. So if I want to find Zillow, I just start doing that, and it's going to bring it up. So that to me is the fastest way to find apps, and it kind of makes your organization irrelevant. You can still organize them for fun, or if you just kind of are trained to search for them in another way, but this is probably the fastest and easiest way to find them. Another highly efficient way to use your phone is by using the control center. So anywhere on your phone, if you swipe down, and these are on the more recent iPhones, swipe down from the right, it's going to bring up what is called the control center. You may or may not know this already, so you can quickly put it in airplane mode, turn off Wi-Fi, turn off Bluetooth. This guy right here, I use this all the time, puts on an orientation lock. So if I like kind of go like this and I'm laying down, I don't want the screen to rotate, it'll lock my orientation. I can adjust the brightness of the screen right then and there. I can adjust my volume. This is my focus mode. I can turn the flashlight on. This is my screen recording that I'm using. I can use my calculator, phone, or not phone, camera, all those different things. So you can access those quickly. So you may or may not already know that. If you don't already know that, this is going to be a game changer for you. Like, you can access so many things so fast, but it does not stop there. Did you know that you can totally customize what shows up on the screen? So to do that, you go to settings, and then you're going to go to control center. That's what it's called. And you're going to customize what is included. So let's say, for example, you never use music recognition. So you can just take it off, remove it. It goes down here. And then let's say you actually do use the alarm all the time. Perfect. Add that. So it's going to allow you to add and take things away as you would like to customize what shows up there on that notification center. Now, you really, or control center, you really cannot, like, you only can choose from what shows up here. You can't, if it doesn't show up here, you can't add it. I don't know that third-party apps can use it either. It would be really nice if they could. And I imagine someday they will be able to. And you can also reorder them. So like say you use music recognition all the time, you could reorder it and put it at the top. You're just gonna grab those 3 bars and kind of drag to where you'd like it to go. So that's how you would customize your notification center. Another way you can make your phone work better for you is by using widgets on your home screen. So these are things that will actually give you information, not just access to an app, right on your home screen. And let me show you how you do this. And then I think you will understand, the ways this might be useful. So I'm just going to tap and hold until everything starts wiggling. I don't know if that's a technical term. And I'm going to click this plus right up in the upper left. Look at all these widgets that I can add. So I could add, for example, the smart staff. It's automatically pulling things. I'll go ahead and add it. It's automatically pulling things that it thinks I might like. So it's kind of using its judgment, so to speak. I could put the weather right there. And for each of these, when I scroll, I could either do like the small square widget, I could do the slightly bigger, or the really big widget. I'd probably just do the small square widget. And you can add this. Then, and you can arrange them in any which way. Like I could move this up here if I wanted that at the top. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that one. Let's see. Then I could add a clock, music, photos. That's kind of fun. Also, third-party apps are allowed to use this. So some third-party apps will have an option here. And if it is an option, you're going to see it show up here. So these are all the different options. So if they're not here, they don't have a widget for the home screen. And most apps to date don't have one. This hasn't been available for a long time, but many do. So you could see anything you want to see right straight from there. A battery one is another fun one, although personally, my battery life shows up in the right corner. That's another setting you can use. But if you have other items here that you want battery life to show, whatever's connected, like my watch, I can see that at a glance, and then I just click done. So that's how you can use widgets to get information at a glance on your home screen. And depending on when this is posted, you may or may not be able to do this on your lock screen. That is in the next version of iOS, and I believe that that's available at the time of posting, but not at the time of recording. Now, I cannot show you this because I can't record my screen when it's locked, but when your screen is locked, even if you haven't used your passcode to open it and you click the side button or you tap it to wake it up, there is a little button in the bottom right corner that you can tap to get to the camera. So I know sometimes I've handed my phone to someone and I've wanted them to take a picture. They don't even need to know the passcode in order to do that. So I just wanted to point that out. All right, this is one of my favorite things. Let's talk about some apps that can help you be more productive. Now, this is by no means an exhaustive list, but these are just a few of the ones that I use that you might consider to help you be more productive. Number one, for me personally, and this probably doesn't apply to the rest of you normal people in the world, is called Alarmy. So if anyone knows me, one of the things you probably know is that I am not a morning person. I am like the definition of not a morning person, to the point that I sleep so soundly, especially in the wee hours of the morning, that when I use my regular alarm on my phone, I sleep right through it. I don't snooze. Like, it's not like I wake up and decide to go back to sleep. I literally don't hear it. Like, my brain starts getting used to it. Therefore, I use this app called Alarmy. Or I wake up and I don't have any conscious recollection of like pressing snooze or messing with it. So Alarmy, it gets really loud. You can change the ringtone, but what's really, really cool about this Alarmy app is you can do all these different things before it will turn off. So it will keep on ringing loudly until you do whatever you set up. And for me, it's math problems. So I have to do 3 medium math problems before it will turn off. And that has assured me that like I am awake enough that I can make a decision to get up. And so that has helped me tremendously. So if you have literal problems like with waking up, consider the Alarmy app. Next is a category of apps that I call listening apps. So that would be Audible, music, podcast, Hoopla, Libby, any of the apps that have like podcast or books on them, audiobooks. And this allows you to listen and learn, or even be entertained with like a fun book while you do something else. So while you're running, while you're washing dishes, while you're working out, while you're folding laundry, you can be listening and learning. And I do a ton of different, like, there's a lot of instructional podcasts. I do a lot of like motivational or business, like how to build your business, and books as well. So these are just amazing ways that you can fit more reading into your day alongside what you're already doing. And I will tell you, of all the ways that my iPhone has helped me personally with just like productivity, growth, development, it has been this, the ability to listen to things while I do something else. I mean, I have listened to books for years and years. I started with Audible. I still use Audible all the time. I'll put a link to them down below because they have the biggest library of books. And once you own it, you own it, which I love. And then, you know, I always get like the deluxe, which gives you like 24 credits a year, and that's never enough. And then I discovered Hoopla, which you can go through your local library and it's free. And they have maybe 75% of the books that I like that Audible does. So if I can find it on there, I can. I think there was eventually a limit on there, but you can do quite a bit. They have both like versions you can literally read on your phone and versions you can listen to on your phone as well. And so, so many of these have been game changers. And I mean, I do not think, had I not had a phone with the ability to listen to audiobooks years ago, I don't know that I ever would have started my business. Like, that is some of those books that I listened to that were kind of motivational, things like that, really helped give me the courage to start that. And if I hadn't had a phone where I could have listened to those like while I was commuting, I don't know that I would have done it. So don't underestimate the power of those amazing books. And also, I put in this category, there are lots of Bible apps that will read you the Bible. So if you're wanting to listen to that, including one of my favorites is dramatic readings of the Bible, which I think are really fun. So instead of just like someone reading it, they have like different people speaking for the different characters, and they have like sound effects, and it's really cool. The next app, which is, I just use the built-in version on my phone, is a reminders app. Now, if there are features you're wanting that your phone doesn't have, there are tons of like different apps available. But as of this time, I am very happy with all the features that are built into the reminders app that I have. Years ago, that was not the case, but this is just a total game changer. Like, it's hard to forget anything. And especially if you have an Apple Watch or really a lot of different watches, it doesn't have to be an Apple Watch, syncs up with reminders on your phone so you can get buzzed and alerted, and it's like really hard to forget things when they're right in your face. I actually have an entire video I made on how to use your reminders app effectively, and there is good ways and bad ways to use it. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check out that video. It is linked down below for you. I told you earlier that, you know, the ability to listen to audiobooks and use Audible on my phone was probably what had changed my life the most. But what I have appreciated the most and has relieved the most stress in my personal life is the Maps app. Remember in the day when you had to like MapQuest, or before that when you just had to like look at maps and like stop at a gas station and be like, where is this? You know, that kind of thing. Love Maps, can't say enough good about it. Anywhere I am, I can get anywhere I want to go. There's really not a lot more to say about that. I will say, when it comes to Maps, we recently got a car, recently meaning like 2 years ago, that had CarPlay. Love, love, love CarPlay. So if you have the option to do that, like it shows up on the screen on my actual car and I can interact with it. That's super nice. But you can still just use your phone. And when you do this, make sure that you understand how to use Siri, which is Apple's built-in voice commands, so that you can talk to it. And you don't have to, like, when you're driving down the road, obviously you shouldn't be like messing with your phone, but you can say, hey, Siri, take me to Target, for example, and it'll pull up Targets and you can go to Target. Or you can say, take me to 123 East Main Street, and it will take you there. I use both Google Maps and Apple Maps, and I have had success with both of them. I've also had some times where it got me pretty close, but not quite. I don't think one is better than the other personally. So they're both wonderful. The one thing I want to tell you that you want to make sure that you do, and this sounds really easy. For some reason, I had to Google it to figure out how to do it. Make sure you have set your home address in there so that you can say, hey Siri, take me home. I moved a year ago and it took me months before I took the time to be like, how do I change my home address? And what you do is you go into contacts and the one that says home, you change your address there. Why did I not figure that out? I was like looking in settings and all of these things. It's as simple as that. It's actually really easy. And once you have your home address set, that's going to enable you to do a few other things, especially when using Siri. Like you can say, hey Siri, remind me to water the plants when I get home. So it knows where you are, and you can do location-based reminders. And I think there's probably other things you can trigger based on location. So it's just really helpful if you have your home address set up. And speaking of Siri, it is really helpful if you know how to use her. So make sure you take a little bit of time and learn how to make her your personal voice assistant, which is what she is designed to be. I think it does take a little bit of time to learn how and kind of train yourself to do that. So what I would do is just look up a new command and learn one new command each day. And every time you pick up your phone, say, would there be an easier way to do this? And let me tell you how I do and I don't use Siri. Number one, I use her for reminders. I say, hey, remind me to do this at a certain time or at a certain location. I also use her for maps all the time. I say, hey, Siri, take me to the nearest Target or take me home, things like that. You can also ask her questions. So like, hey, how many grams are in 1 cup of flour? I ask that a lot because I weigh all of my ingredients. So things like that, she can look it up. She can really speed up the process. She can actually text people. So especially when you're driving, I can say, and it's very, very important, like I am very diligent about never using my phone while I'm driving. It is never, ever worth it. Don't do it. So what you can do is you can say, hey, Siri, text my husband, in my case is Jason. So text Jason to buy milk at the store, whatever you want him to text. They can send a text. They can redo your texts. But my advice here is really to spend some time getting familiar with it. Maybe like let someone, your best friend or your spouse know, hey, I'm going to be practicing, so I'm going to send you all these texts and just ignore them or something like that, so that you get really comfortable with it and then it becomes second nature. The other thing I want to mention is there are 2 ways to activate Siri. So I turned off Hey Siri because I didn't want her interacting while I was filming this video. But there is a setting where you can set both your watch or your phone to answer you when you say, hey Siri. So you don't have to touch your phone. You can just say, hey Siri. And it's going to learn your voice and it's going to answer you like my watch just did when you say, hey Siri. The other way is just by holding this button. And if I hold this button, it pops up down there. Hey Siri, nice talking to you. I didn't have anything to say. So that is a great way to use Siri, and it can really speed things up for you. Another invaluable productivity tool is just your built-in notes app. I mean, anywhere I am, I can take notes, and it's eliminated the need for like Post-its and all these things everywhere and notebooks. Like, it's all on my phone. It's searchable. It's easily shareable. You can even share a note and like different people can edit it. So this built-in notes app is really quite powerful. And I will link to a post below where I talk all about how I organize my notes app. I use emojis and I keep things really organized, and some of the reference items that I keep in there. For example, this is my personal favorite. I don't know if anyone else loves this as much as I do, but I have like my all of my own and my family's measurements and sizes. So when I go to order something, I'm not like, oh my goodness, I cannot remember. Like, does my daughter weigh 35 pounds? Or was it 39? Or was it 45? Like, I can't remember. I know. And so I know like what size to get her. And the same with myself. Like, I have my own measurements and everything in there because that way I can, when I'm ordering things, I know what size they are. And I just think that is super helpful. Next up, and I won't go through all these, there are loads of to-do apps and focus apps. So there's lots of apps and those that integrate the two. So one of my favorite focus apps is the Pomodoro timer. If you've ever heard of the Pomodoro technique, I'll try to link to an article about it below. So you focus for a certain amount of time and then you take little breaks. And it really helps because you have this like set amount of time. The timer is like ticking. You can choose whether or not you actually hear it or not. And like you're going to focus for this amount of time and then you're going to stop. So it really helps you to focus. So there's lots of timers like that, lots of apps like that. And then there's tons of different to-do apps, like organize your life or your work or all the things. And I'm not going to overwhelm you with all of them. I am a bit of I guess you would say productivity junkie. So I love watching reviews of these things. I've downloaded a ton of them and just played with them and tried them. So I'm just going to give you my favorites. Now, if you would be interested in like a more in-depth review of specific productivity apps, and let me tell you, I have tried a lot. Let me know in the comments, and that's something I would love to film, but I'm not going to bore you with that if you're just here for your smartphone to help you be more productive. So I mentioned the Pomodoro timer. The other one that I use all the time is GoodNotes. For digital planning. It's basically like combining your paper planner and your digital planner. I have entire videos on that. I will link those down below if you're interested in that. It's really popular these days. And GoodNotes can also, it's especially helpful if you have an iPad with a pencil or some kind of tablet with a pencil where you can like write on it. But it also has an app for your phone. So even though I primarily use it on my iPad, I'm looking up things on my phone. So if I made a list, like a grocery list or a list of books I want to read or any kind of list, or like, I've drawn out dimensions of my room and I want a rug of this specific size, I can bring it up on my phone. It's not as easy to like use entirely on my phone, but being able to access it is invaluable to me. For productivity, oh man, I've tried a lot. We used Asana for our business for many years. Now we use ClickUp. Lately, I've been really into Notion, and I think that's where I'm headed. So check that out. Try Notion if you're interested. That's what I recommend right now. Others include Todoist. I used to do Todoist. To-Do, which is like TEUX, DEUX. I used that for a while. Remember the Milk is really popular. Things is based on David Allen's Getting Things Done. Which is really a system that you can implement across any of them. Oh, there's so many. So, just spend some time finding the one that works for you. But let me tell you, don't overcomplicate it. If opening the notes app on your phone and making a little list works for you, fantastic, do that. If you have a paper planner, we have a paper planner that you love and that's working, use that. Don't overcomplicate it. But if you have something that you're struggling with, how to plan it or be productive, that's when you can start searching for an app that meets your needs. But don't let the app drive what you do. And I'm kind of speaking to myself here. Also should mention Alexa for grocery lists. We have Alexas basically all over our home. And I purposely don't have one in here while I'm filming because I talk about her enough and then she would start talking to me. It's really annoying. But for the most part, all over our house we have them. And I use her most for grocery lists. And then I have the app here on my phone. So anytime, anywhere, there's a running grocery list and it's always accessible. Now, if you don't have Alexa, that's totally fine. I would encourage you to maybe open up a notes app on your phone or, just a note and keep it there. But as much as possible these days, I think you should have your grocery list to where it's always accessible on your phone. And the last productivity app I will talk about is Evernote. It's been around for years and years and years. And I store all of my recipes in Evernote. Very nice when I'm on the go and I want to make something. I can find out what ingredients there are. I can look it up on the go or I can share it with people. And I also have all of my files. So basically I've gone almost entirely, not entirely, but fairly much paperless. So most of my papers get scanned in and like basically it's like taking your entire file cabinet with you wherever you go. I have an entire course on that. If you're interested, I'll leave the link down below. So those are some of my top productivity apps. And the last tip that I want to leave you with is taking screenshots to help you remember things. So I don't know, like if you're anything like me and you're scrolling through Instagram and somebody like has a photo of a book cover and they're like, this book was life-changing. And you're like, oh, I'd like to read that. That's all you do. Next time you're looking for a book, are you going to remember it? I highly doubt it. So take a screenshot and wherever you are, all you have to do in order to take a screenshot is press your volume up, and again, this is on an iPhone, and power button at the same time. Voila, there's a screenshot, it goes to photos. You can even go so far as to, if you tap on it, oops, like so, you can bring it up and mark it up. So like, okay, I really don't know if in what situation I would want to mark up my home screen, but whatever. You can draw on it, and then you can immediately send it somewhere. So I can send it to any of my contacts. I can mail it to somebody, and then I could choose to keep it on my camera roll, or I could choose to go ahead and trash it. And I've done that a lot. If I'm sending it to a friend, I will just screenshot it, immediately send it to them and be like, hey, I thought you'd think this was funny, especially for those funny quotes, and then send it off to them and trash it. It's not even cluttering up my photos. But those screenshots, I think, are super helpful in helping you be productive. So I hope this has helped you be productive with your phone. I would love to hear more of your ideas and ways you're productive. If you'd be interested in a more in-depth review on a lot of productivity apps, be sure to let me know that in the comments down below. And if you haven't watched my first video on how to be the boss of your own smartphone, be sure to click the link right here and go watch that video.